Oh, we've got their ass. We've got their ass now. So, if the sun is 1,000,000 miles away and the moon is also 1,000,000 miles away, then why is it that you can see the clouds in front and behind the sun and the moon? Now I know this might be hard for some of you to believe, and some of you still don't understand. So we gotta show you in real time of what it looks like. That right there is the moon at daytime. That's somebody in a plane. Oh, we got them now. There is no mistaking that the moon and the sun is not 1,000,000 miles away.
Spinning Bull Earth believers have a hard time understanding perspective and convergent point. I'll let an expert artist explain that to you so you can understand that. Perspective is everything.
Horizontal lines go away from you, vertical lines come towards you. Where does this come from? Well, it's the basic idea of the railroad track where you have a vanishing point here and you have lines doing this. And things get bigger as they come towards you and more horizontal as they go away from you. To expand on that, this is where you get this idea of Earth doing this. So this line is coming towards you, this line is going away from you.
Here are some visual aids to help globe believers to understand that. Sunsets are not caused by the sun going over a curved ball Earth. Sunsets are due to perspective. As the sun goes away, it sets beyond the horizon due to perspective. Sometimes due to weather conditions, the sun gets magnified during its sunset, making it appear huge. That's due to a condition called atmosphere magnification. It only occurs in certain regions, especially over the ocean, and in areas more humid. In dry regions, atmospheric magnification doesn't happen so often. Again, it all depends on atmospheric conditions, but the fact of the matter is, sunsets are due to perspective only. A shrinking sun, as you see here, is not possible on a spherical Earth. Sunsets prove we live on a stationary flat Earth. It's time for you to wake up and smell the coffee.
So, if the sun is 1,000,000 miles away and the moon is also 1,000,000 miles away, then why is it that you can see the clouds in front and behind the sun and the moon? Now I know this might be hard for some of you to believe, and some of you still don't understand. So we gotta show you in real time of what it looks like. Oh, we got them now. There is no mistaking that the moon and the sun is not 1,000,000 miles away.
And here is an example of the shrinking sun over the flat Earth. It's all due to perspective, and it is the sun that is going away. It is not a ball Earth spinning back away from the sun. It's not that hard to see once you realize the nature of the things. Why didn't we pay attention to this before? The Bible says the heavens declare the glory of God. Why did we keep ourselves so busy and never paid attention to that?
Check it out. I made a sundial with my Gleason map placed right here on Michigan, where I'm at 42 degrees-ish. So, solar noon today is 1:18 p.m. So that shadow should align directly, point true north as your shadow points true north at solar noon. So I also have the globe over here, which I have it inclined at its proper 23.4 degree angle. And we have the shadow right here. I have the gnomon also bent, angled, at the same latitude as this one's also bent at the same latitude. This helps the shadow keep a uniform rotation, so that's why you have to angle your gnomon with your latitude. So this one's already looks like it's at solar noon, or just about. The Gleason map has about an hour to go. I think it's a little after noon right now. So we'll keep an eye on these and see how it goes. But they're both facing true north. They're both facing true north. So, and the globe, that's the angle it would be. Equinox is tomorrow. The sun would be facing it just like that. Right. So everything's good. 12:52. Looking pretty good. 12:52. Uh-oh, Globey. What's going on with you here, buddy? Okay, we're about 8 minutes away from our last reading here. Let's see. It's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the globe here. Buddy, you are way off. 1:18 p.m. 1:18, let's see. Pretty dead nuts on here. I got a garbage truck going down the street, so I'm talking really loud here. So check out my shadow. Let me show you. Check out the globe. Way off. Buddy, it didn't do too good. So this one worked. Perfect. Pretty darn perfect. Final results, baby. Love y'all.
Why so few, you say? There are not a few of these giant trees. The remnants are everywhere. Our eyes only allow us to see small glimpses of what was. But the more your eyes open, the more you realize that these ancient trees were everywhere. You see, we have been told to dismiss what our eyes have told us for so long. Erasing all truths of the old world is a vast and extensive lie that branches off into all facets of our life. The lies are numerous, and the reason for it is quite simple. Those unaware of their true past, of their true capabilities and origins, are all that much more easier to control. It's not just about giant trees. Though the giant trees for me and many others were a big eye-opener to the true beauty of this world, to what's worth uncovering, and how much of it is hidden in plain sight for us to find. They want us thinking we're just hurtling around on a spinning rock in vast sea of nothingness, and we're just lumps of cells that don't matter, and all that around us is just rock. But trust me, friends, once you start opening your eyes to the true beauty of this realm, it truly inspires you and uplifts your spirits in ways you can never imagine. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
If we didn't go to the moon until 1969, which is right here, how did Universal know what the world looked like before that? And then when they did discover go to the moon in 1969, why did they change it to this? Maybe because they know we live in a basin. They know that water has to be contained.
Mommy, why can't they reproduce a spinning ball Earth with water stuck to it and spinning at 1,000 miles per hour?
They can't do that, my dear. In real life, Earth does not spin. It only spins in Hollywood and on TV. It's just animation, nothing else. See how water needs to be contained.
You are right, Mommy. The water needs to be inside the container, otherwise, it would spill all over. Earth cannot be spinning. Otherwise, everything would just fly off to space.
Exactly, my dear. I'm so glad you are so young and you already see through their lies.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it comes. It's either from sweat or from the cooling garments, and on some of my spacewalks, I had like water in the helmet, not like I was going to drown in the helmet, but just little bits of water, probably came from sweat. Often on the outside of the space station, you'll liberate little pieces of, it's a really harsh environment out there, and the outside of the space station gets beat up pretty good. And sometimes, you'll see just little flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit. And, that's generally what that is. I've never seen any kind of air bubble anywhere.
Yeah. Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there? All right, well, I just encourage everyone to look up Bubbles in Space, hashtag Bubbles in Space. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Holy cow, 100,000 views overnight. I had no idea this video was going to go viral, but since it has, and there's a lot of people in the comments claiming that there are pictures of Earth from space, let's address it. I don't even know where to start. For those that don't know, many of the NASA photos that they've put out claiming it is Earth from space, you can go into to adjust the settings as shown here, and you will see the box around Earth. The same thing applies to the Earthrise photo. If you go in and adjust the settings, a box pops up. What does this mean? It means that this is an inserted image. There is no box around the Earth in space, last time anyone checked. So this is an image that was inserted, proving that they are lying to you. So here we are at the Earthrise photo, and you go and do this yourself and adjust the settings, you will see it a lot clearer. Why are we inserting the Earth into images and proposing them to be real? Why are there 0 full hemisphere, like the entire half of the Earth, in frame between 1972 and the 2000s? So for 30 years, they couldn't take a single photograph of the entire Earth. About half the people in the comments are saying, oh, well, they couldn't get far away enough. And if you don't find it weird that they couldn't take a picture in 30 years, I just don't know if I can help you at that point. And also, to those that are sending the Earthrise and not taking it a step back further and realizing that we didn't go to the moon, they never went. And this has been exposed from NASA's own leaked footage. Sending me photographs from the moon, which we didn't go to, are pointless. Okay, so here we are at the famous blue marble, the one that was on everyone's cell phone when the new phones came out. But this is a fake photograph. You can't just, send a rocket up there and live stream us the Earth while the rocket, and then show it to us as a whole ball, and then maybe just take a screenshot of that. It's comical.
Nearly everyone interested in space has seen this picture. It was released by NASA and has the iconic name, the Blue Marble 2. You can find the picture everywhere, but one of the best places to find it is NASA's own website. This photograph is iconic because NASA says it is one of the most detailed true-color images of the entire Earth to date. To put it in a nutshell, the picture is iconic. Well, amazingly, it turns out at first the photo seems legit. Here we can see clear examples that the photograph has not only been doctored or constructed, but also strong evidence that whoever done the doctoring used repeating photographic templates. That is, they cloned parts of the image and repeated it. That is, the photograph is a construction. This does not happen in nature. Clouds do not repeat in the same pattern like this. The chances of this happening in the same photograph are low. The only way this could happen is if someone has cloned clouds and painted them on. This of course could be for a number of reasons. You could argue that NASA simply touched up the photograph for effect, or that it was a problem with the imaging systems that were used. But still the question exists, why is NASA releasing fake pictures of Earth? If they are going to release a picture of Earth, to be used in museums and by educators, as they state for the Blue Marble 2, then should they not release real images of Earth instead, or manipulated or fake images? Since the natural extension of this is, what other images have they doctored? The Moon, Pluto, Mars, all of them. And if they are faking pictures to such an extent, whether by wanting them to look better, or other reasons, Then what real scientific value are they? Isn't science about finding the truth? And is that not hard to do, when you are being fed inaccurate, or in this case, completely manufactured data? NASA says these images are to be used by educators, museums, and scientists. Which means, they are passing off the image as a real picture of Earth, when it is not.
Then in 2002, Blue Marble 2.0. NASA's Rob Simon made this. It ended up as the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know until I bought an iPhone and turned it on and kind of did a little happy dance.
Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
To us, the really cool thing was the data set. Up until that point, there was no realistic color map of the globe anywhere.
So the land layer here comes from
the Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer aboard Terra.
And the tricky part here was the weather.
So we actually had to take clouds out.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid-oceans. And then where it's a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit.
So some of those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
there was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. But I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it.
So look, if you want to believe that the only way to get a photograph is by taking ribbons of imagery and splicing them together and blah 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 that Mr. Blue Marble said, then that's fine. You can live with that statement, and that's fine. But the thing is even if I were to give you one of these photos, or give you the couple shots from the moon, what strikes me is that, just say I gave you the photo. Okay, I was wrong. That is a real shot of the Earth from the moon, the Earthrise or whatever. The person goes, haha, got him. He's wrong and I'm right, moving on. You don't go, wait a minute. There's only one picture of the Earth that they took of the moon in 6 missions? One? They would have taken so many. Think about how many pictures people take before they go out to dinner. Bathroom selfies. I mean, I've taken more videos in my car today. Yes, it's 2023, but you're going to the moon. You would take dozens, you would take hundreds. So the fact that people are just looking to say I'm wrong, rather than it set in and go, holy cow. Even if those pictures are real, they still admit they weren't able to take a single one for 30 years, and now they're photoshopping the most famous ones. If that's not a red flag to you, I can't help you. The only pictures that people are sending me are either from the fake moon missions, pictures of the Earth with a box around it, one that Mr. Blue Marble created where he's using Command Z a lot, and you can literally see where the clouds are being repeated and copied and pasted. Or we've got ones like this. Look over my head over here. What's that say in the clouds? It says sex, S-E-X, plain as day. It just reminds you of some of the Disney movies. We all know that Walt and NASA had a very close relationship. We know that Disney and NASA were both tightly connected with the CIA and Nazis, Project Paperclip. You're photoshopping the Earth, and the only pictures that people can find that they're sending me are sex written in the clouds and Photoshop boxes around it. There should be tons. So they're like, oh, well, here's a satellite, a Japanese satellite, the Himawari 8's taking pictures every 10 minutes. Are you going to accept that the only person that can take pictures of the Earth is some random Japanese satellite that started in the late 2010s? That has also been proven to be fraudulent. If you're up there, you wouldn't need to fake all of these images and videos. And please don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Compare NASA's photos to one another. Listen to their explanations. Ask yourself why America shrunk half its size in 3 years. Do you believe an organization that was founded by Nazis, Freemasons, and the CIA? I would encourage you to double check that information. Oh, but Justin, I just went on Google and looked up Earth from space, and there's tons of images. They're all over NASA's website. Guys, is that really all it takes? One Google search? You don't think we've done that? This topic has been raging on for 7 years now. We've verified NASA's photos. Look at these 2 pictures. 5 years later, same exact cloud pattern. Copy and paste. Find me someone that's taken pictures of our Earth that's not lying about it. If your girlfriend lied to you or your boyfriend lied to you 99 times, would you believe them the 100th time? Would you say they just walked in and said it's not true, so therefore it's not true? I just went to the .gov website. It says here Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, so he must have killed himself. Guys, let's not be so gullible. There are now more questions than there are answers.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer, Al-Biruni, who lived between 975 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store today and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.